So why is improvisation so important in music?
Improvisation is important in music because everything is improvisation. Life is improvisation.
This is Jon Batiste, an amazing musician and composer of all the jazz music in Pixar's Soul.
It's like he's singing.
He just came out with this really fun song. He's a freaking legend.
Improvisation is important in music because everything is improvisation. Life is improvisation. When you speak, you don't know what you're going to say before you say it. You're improvising. You meet a new person, you're improvising. Without improvisation, we wouldn't have some of the greatest compositions or songs or lyrics or melodies that we all sing today.
How do you use improvisation in your own music?
Well, improvisation for me is the way that I create. It's the way that I start, and it's everything. It's not even an influence. It just is. It exists. It's like the air we breathe. It's the thing that happens when you sit at an instrument and you're inspired. You don't know what you're about to play, but you have a feeling and you want to get it out. So that's the thing that I do. I improvise and I create based on music that I'm feeling and I don't quite know yet.
So how do you think improvisation in music has evolved from early jazz to today?
Early jazz is a misnomer because all jazz happens in the moment and all jazz is therefore modern. So even when you hear Duke Ellington or Nina Simone or Carmen McRae or Abbey Lincoln, Cassandra Wilson, all of the jazz greats who played in the past and still play today, they're always doing something that's fresh and modern and new. So it really hasn't evolved. People have just added to it. It just keeps growing and growing. And you can add to it too. I look forward to hearing what you play.
Thanks, Jon. So can you give us 3 tips for learning how to improvise music?
3 tips for learning how to improvise music. Do it often, embrace your mistakes, and find a way to have fun no matter what. If it ain't fun, I don't want none.
So what are the key characteristics of jazz fusion? Is there even such a thing as jazz fusion?
So jazz fusion is a term that really doesn't exist because all jazz is a fusion of different cultures and styles, and that's the beauty of jazz. It happened in New Orleans, and this is a time in the world where America didn't even exist fully yet, and all these cultures existed together, and it created a style of music. Thus, jazz was created, a natural fusion.
So can you speak a little bit more about how jazz originated?
Jazz originated in New Orleans based upon the cultural experiment that we now call America, being born through this port city, and all these different people, the enslaved ancestors of my people, the Native Americans, the indigenous people, French, English, Spanish, the Caribbean, all these people are intermingling, and that's how jazz was created.
So what do you see as the future of jazz music?
The future of jazz is something that will always be whatever the future of the people are, because jazz is the people. Jazz is an expression of people and culture. So if we start living in hyperbolic chambers and being on the moon 24/7, then that's what jazz will be. If we save the planet from climate change and we have a utopia, then jazz will be utopian jazz. It will be utopian-esque. If we start giving kids in the projects instruments so that they can play, instead of trying to put all of these weapons and stuff in the streets, we'll be having Love Riot processional concerts in the streets. That's what jazz will be. It will be whatever we decide as a people we are.
Thank you so much, Jon, for being on the channel. This was such a pleasure, and I really look forward to keeping up with all the great stuff you make.